today I'll be showing you the basics of eNetReality, which is our virtual reality authoring tool that allows us to create VR assessments directly onto the web. And hopefully by the end of this, everyone will have a rough idea of what our product has to offer. And make sure you feel free to interrupt me at any time to ask me any questions. I'll start the presentation by showing you a virtual reality project and then proceed to show the authoring tool on how to create your project. And after that, I'll show the admin side of things. So at first, I'll start by logging into the website. By pressing login in, I'll get sent a two-step verification code. Just copy this and paste it on the website. And now we're in. And this is our eNetReality dashboard. On our dashboard, we can see our recent projects, our recent learning objectives, and our recent media. On the menu on the left-hand side, we can see the dashboard, obviously, the projects, learning objectives, which I'll cover this later, the media, the daily report, the learners, admins and authors, my account, my orders, my profile, help, and eventually the log out button. I'll quickly jump into the projects page. In our projects page, we can view all the projects that we've created. We can edit the project details by renaming it, renaming the description. We can save the project. We can also download the XAPI report, which is basically data that's been collected through the learners when they do the exams or the projects. We can export the projects, copy the projects, or even delete them. We can also add a project by clicking on the top left, and we can input the project name and the project description and move from there. At first, I'll quickly jump into our eCom Office walkthrough project that we've worked on recently. And now give you a VR experience on how this looks. So I'll click on the first scene and preview the scene. So in here, we are welcome with a nice text. And after that, we are allowed to move inside the building where a video can be played. And this was previously programmed in the way that once the video is finished, we can move on to a next division. Again, eNetReality is there's no need for any coding or anything whatsoever. It's basically a very simple to use authoring tool that you can create your projects that I'll show you in a second. So once you move to another division, again, you can be displayed by hotspots. When you hover on them, you'll be displayed with information. And this is triggering actions that once you click on the hotspots, you're allowed to, again, to move on to a different division. Again, we can be displayed with some text that triggers another image that allows us to go into a different division. So several different actions that we can trigger. Again, moving around in place sounds. I believe that on the presentation, but this is currently playing a sound. If you hover on the hotspots, we're displayed with information. Like for this example, click me to have a closer look into the dog's board. And if you click it, we can have a zoom in version of the pictures on the wall. And move into the kitchen, for example. This can be used to any hazards on any site. For example, we implemented this on the kettle. That once we over this, there's more information being on the screen. Then we can move out the kitchen. This is the outro video that is programmed that once we finish the video, a quiz will pop up asking a few questions regards on the experience that we just had. As you can see, the quiz popped up and we can answer the quiz. Don't judge me because I know the answers, I believe. And once we finish the quiz, we will be displayed with the either pass or fail message. You can submit all the questions. And yeah, we've passed the test, and this is the end of our tour. So this is one of the few examples we can create on our tool. And what I'll do next is I'll go back and now create a project from scratch. In order to create a project, I'll just go into the projects page and I'll click on Add Project on the top left. I'll name this one Fourth Bridge. I'll add this to the description as well. And I'll click Add Project. So this is a project from scratch. We can click on Add Scene in order to create the first scene for our project. We can enter the title. And we can select either a color, image, or a video as the background. In this case, I'll select an image. Click OK, and I'll browse this through my computer. Once the image is uploaded, you can hit Save. This will automatically create a VR experience with the image that we just uploaded. From here, we can toggle a few settings. As you can see, for example, now there's a grid on screen. We can deactivate that by toggle grid. We can also copy a scene. We can access the scene settings. Those settings are the ones that we just created before. We can choose the startup position from a scene. Hit save. We can also reset the scene, set as project icon, which is the project thumbnail when we access the projects page. We can scene learning objectives. Again, I'll go over this a bit later, and we can also delete the scene. A few examples of medias that we can implement in here. Let's say we wanted to input some sort of information over here. We will double click or click on the bottom right on Add Media. And we get to choose between all these different medias. We currently have text, image, video, audio, quiz, selection, hotspot, and 3D models. Just for this case alone, I'll select text. Can name it. We can select the font that we want. Hit OK. We can trigger actions, which I'll create the next scene as an example next. So I won't add any actions just now. So I'll hit save. As you can see, the text is now applied. So in order to add an action into this text, I'll create a new scene. Let's see, image. Actually, I'll click a color and I'll select, for example, a red color as a background. Okay, so in order to trigger an action on this text, we will select the layer that we just created from the text on the first scene. We can access the settings and go into the actions. In this case, I will tell the project that once we click or hover for a few seconds on the text, we will link the scene into scene 2, which is the red background that we just created. We can add the action and save it. So now, if we preview the scene, once we over the worker, we jump directly into the second scene. We can also add videos. And again, there's a bunch of different action types for videos. We can play media, toggle media, which is literally when you click, you play, and you click again, you pause the video. You have stop media and whatsoever. So it's a very creative tool that you can explore. And now I'll quickly jump into the admin side of things. So return to the projects. I can leave this one. go back into our dashboard. In our dashboard, we can see again the projects, and we jump into the learning objectives. The learning objectives is a very interesting part of it, which is often utilized by organizations when there are outcomes where, for example, there are multiple learning experiences that might lead up to an understanding or having full competency of something, and that can be created here. So right now we can see the current learning objectives that we created, and we can also create a learning objective again on the top left, and we can create our learning objective that then we can assign to our projects or whatsoever. On our media, this is the media that we see in a project, and we can here upload our media or view the media that we currently have. You can view it or preview it on the button over here on preview. We can also upload our media. I'll do a quick example. Again, top left, we add our media. Click upload media. Oh, sorry, I have to select a file. Let's select this one, for example. Yeah. And add an upload media. Now, in our filters, if we type in welcome, which is the name that I just named the image that we just uploaded, we can preview it. We can edit, so we can rename anything that we want, or we can even delete any media. We currently support four types of media, which is text, audio, video, and some 3D models as well. On our daily report, you'll be able to see recent information on regards to projects, who's been taking the projects, how many people have been taking the projects, and lots of other information. On our learners page, we can this is where you see the different learners that you and your organization are sending assessments and trainings out to. We can also update that by, again, adding a learner on the top left. You can insert the username, first name, last name, and email, and click add. And that way, once you want to export that project and send it to somebody, you can do that throughout the section. You can access the admin and authors page. We can view our current admins, and we can edit and delete them. The My Accounts page, where we can access our original preferences. Once your organization selects out the country or, for example, a server location, this will be applied to all the users within the organization. We can also view the distribution credits report. And if we do need to buy more credits, we can access that by doing so. On My Orders, we can see the previous orders made on this account. On My Profile, the basic stuff of changing your email, name, or even password. On the Help page, we can see a couple examples on helping on how to create the projects. There's a couple of videos that can help you out on how to create, how to add different media. You can also have the Contact Us page. You can either do that on this page or even send us a message on the bottom right. And eventually we have the Logout page. And I believe that's everything covered for eNetReality. Thanks everyone for being part of this today. Have a wonderful day.